Hey everyone, and welcome to the Learning Ladder, and welcome to planning for homeschool high school. I can't believe we are here. It is insane. I was just thinking about this the other day, and I was thinking I was just making sensory bins and tinker trays, and now I'm planning for high school. It was even more poignant because we obviously started packing and things, and I was clearing out stuff, and I found her old little Minnie Mouse Hoover that she used when she was like 2, and my old stroller and stuff that I've got rid of now, and I'm just like, oh, I have a high schooler. So back up, you might be thinking, what on earth, she's 11, how is she going into high school? So in the UK it's different. We have primary, which is reception to year 6, and then we have secondary education, which is year 7 to year 11, and then you can go on to further education, which is most times in a college facility for 1 to 2 years, and then you go to university. So that's how it works here in the UK. I know in the US and other places you pretty much stay in high school until year 12, and then you would go to university. We don't. So compulsory education here finishes at 16, and then you can go on to further education for 2 further years, taking you to 18. It's not compulsory though, it's up to the individual, and then obviously you go from 18 to 21, or however, if you were going to do postgrad even longer at university. So that's why we're in high school in year 7 almost. It's insane. I remember my first day of high school with my little pulled up socks, and so terrified and nervous, and everyone was, it was just, no, it was, I'm so glad she doesn't have to go through that whole peer pressure thing of, oh, you don't have the right shoes, or you don't have the right bag, and I'm so happy we are homeschooling. So yes, we're going to be going into high school. Now we are moving, as I keep saying over and over again, and in our new location she would not be going into high school yet, because in year 7, because their system is completely different. They don't have GCSEs, they have something different, so she would still be in primary for another year. However, we currently live in England, so we haven't moved yet, so I'm basing everything on what it would be where we currently live. Also because I don't know the new system, I'm not familiar with it, I didn't do it, I did the system in England, I did my GCSEs, that's what I'm comfortable, that's what I know. If once we move and I make friends with other homeschool families, home education families in the area, then, you know, if they can give me any advantages of doing the new system there as opposed to the one I'm used to, then, you know, I might, if there's any advantages to my daughter, then I might switch, and I might change and use their system. But for right now, I'm sticking with what I know, and that is the England system. So year 7 is when you start high school. You do key stage 3 for 7, 8, 9, and then you will pick your options, if you like, in year 9 after you've done your exams of what subjects you want to study at GCSE level in year 10 and year 11. As we homeschool, we can do exams anytime, but I don't plan on doing that. I plan on sticking to year 11 is when you do your exams. I just feel like there's a lot of pressure involved with exams. The maturity has to be there. You have to know what you want to do for a start, or at least have a good idea of, you know, what you might want to do in the future and things before you start taking your GCSEs. That's just my personal opinion. I know some people like to space it out and things, but I'm happy for her to just do them in year 11, unless she changes her mind and wants to do it differently. But for right now, that's our plan, that she'll do her GCSE exams in year 11, and she'll do 6 of a minimum. You need 5 A to C grades in order to, well, they're not A to C anymore, they're 9 to 1, but I'm going to say A to C because that just makes way more sense to me. So you need 5 A to C grades to go into further education, to do A levels, and also as a prerequisite for university. So she'll do 6, you know, you've got your leeway there in case one goes wrong and you don't get your C. In school I did 10, because that's what you had to do. Of course, if she decides she wants to do more than 6, that's absolutely fine as well, but that's the minimum that we all do. So you've got your leeway there in case you don't get the grade that you like or need for your further education or university course that you've chosen. So that's our plan for right now. As I said, potentially we might change, but for right now she'll be doing GCSEs. So what I've been doing is researching and looking at different exam specifications, syllabus, what exam boards that we could do as a home educator. Obviously it's slightly different than if you were in a school, because in a school the teacher would teach your courses for 2 years, then you do your exams in the school and everything's all sorted out for you. As currently in the UK, as a private candidate, we have to do it all ourselves. So we have to choose what syllabus or exam board we want to go with. We have to arrange our own exams. So we have to contact an exam centre and get permission from them for your child to sit your exam there. And there's all paperwork and all kinds of things that you have to go through. So I think it's better if you start your research earlier. That's just my opinion. So that's what I've done. We have decided on a path of where we think we will go for right now. So what I've been doing is gathering resources just to get an idea of what they would be doing at that Key Stage 3 in certain subjects in a school. Just to give me an idea, not to say that I'll follow the school curriculum, because it's not essential. It's not a requirement to home educate. You don't have to follow the national curriculum, but because you will be doing exams based on that national curriculum, there does have to be, as far as I'm concerned, an oversight in terms of the parent of what they would need to know for the exam. There's no point studying something completely irrelevant if the exam's going to be on something completely different. So at this stage, you do have to, I think, shift your mindset a little from, well, we're choosing curriculum that we follow in interest and everything else, interest-led learning. And not to say you still can't do that, you absolutely can, but there does have to be, in my opinion, a greater awareness of what requirements for the exams are, because you need to be able to sit them if you are planning to do that. So I have gone and got some resources and had a look through. I have done a haul. Hopefully I've posted that haul first, so you'll have seen the things that I've got. So I've basically looked at history curriculum, I've looked at English, I have looked at science, computing, and there's just subjects like that, French and things like that I know that we'll be likely to continue with further on down the line, just to get an idea of what the level's like, what content's involved and things. Now, does that mean that I won't be using any of my old curriculum that I've used for the years? No, absolutely not. I'll still be using curriculum that is suitable for my child's level, she enjoys, is interest led as much as possible. But those guides that I've purchased will help me to know if I need to fill in any gaps, or if there's a better way to present something in terms of remembering things for the exam. Because unfortunately the scheme that we have currently is you have to remember things for an exam. Does that mean that you know it well? No, it doesn't, because I memorize so many things for my exams that if you were to ask me now, maybe I'd remember some of it, but not all of it at all. So it's sad, but it's the way it is, and you have to work in the system that you're in. So yes, there will be things that you'll have to revise and remember. So I've found some CGP books, which is what I used when I was doing my GCSEs, and they do have little tips and tricks in there to help you remember things for your exams, which it was so funny reminiscing looking at those, because I remember sitting at my desk at home in my mum's room, because I didn't have a desk in my room, and with my CGP book open and revising for my exams. It's just crazy. But anyway, so yes, you do have to be able to remember things for the exams, because that's what you have to do in order to fit in with the scheme of how things in education work currently. So is it the best method? I mean, it's debatable. But in certain jobs you do need to remember things. So you need to know how much medicine you need to give people if you're a doctor. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with memory-based stuff. I just think that it's not the most ideal way to test every subject. Certain things, yes, but not every subject, because some people just don't do well in exams at all, and other people thrive. So it's one of those, but it's what we have, so it's what we've got to work with. So I have, as I said, got all these different books as a guide. So what I plan to do is I'll get my chosen curriculums or curricula that I'm thinking of using, and I'll go through the specification and check versus the syllabus versus what is the content of that curriculum is. And does that mean I won't choose it if it doesn't have everything in? No, I can just supplement. So for example, if we're doing biology and there's a topic in the Key Stage 3 curriculum that's not in my biology, I can just supplement. I can do a mini study, I can create something myself. I can use that book as a guide. They also have practice questions in there, which I do think are really useful, because they're exam-based themes, so she'll get an idea of what type of questions and how they'll phrase things, because sometimes the way exam questions are phrased can trip you up a bit. So I think it is good practice to have those types of questions in there. So no, she won't be working through those books as from day one to the end, but we'll refer to them as a reference guide, and also for me for planning, and also for me to be able to present exam questions to her, so that she can practice for when she does have to sit those exams. So that's basically what I've been doing. So I haven't got I've got a couple of things that I'm potentially thinking about for next year, but I haven't bought my year 7 curriculum, grade 7 curriculum yet. But I just started with a few things so I can do my research, and I can plan, and it also helps guide me as to what options to pick from. And you'll definitely still see curriculum from the past, because tried and true things you don't change as far as I'm concerned, as long as if it's something that's missing you can supplement. But in all my years of using curriculum that wasn't UK based, I've never had or known of an issue where something wasn't covered. But because we're entering a new stage and I didn't have those reference guides, that's why one of the reasons why I purchased them, to make sure that from this point on, as we're entering a different stage, so primary is key stage 1 and key stage 2, I was very comfortable with all the material that I'd purchased from other countries meeting that, because I'd researched it. But now we're entering key stage 3, and I'm doing my research stage again, like I did at the beginning back in my early days of primary, to make sure again that the choices that I'm making are still going to meet those guidelines, but also with more scrutiny, particularly due to exam questions and exam syllabus and things, to make sure that what I'm bringing into the home is going to help her with her exams. But like I say, I'll still be doing child-led learning as much as possible. I'll still be using curriculum that I know and trust and that we've used for years and works well, but I'll be making sure that anything that is not quite in line, or we know if it doesn't cover enough, in depth enough, I've got those reference guides to help me to fill in if there are any gaps. I was looking at the biology for a couple of curriculums that I'm considering, and also looking at what is in the key stage 3, and they line it very well. So not trying to worry anyone and for them to think that their curriculum isn't going to meet the standards. I'm just saying that now that I'm entering this new stage, making sure myself personally that everything I'm bringing in is going to meet those standards where necessary for any exams that she might like to do. Do I know exactly which exams she'll pick right now? No. She'll obviously do the basics in terms of English, maths and science, and then obviously she'll pick her other options at that time. In terms of what I did, we did 10, as I said, back in the day. So I did history, I did geography, I did design technology, English, maths, I did dual award science. I also did Spanish, I did music, I did IT, I did extra music, which was history of music. How many is that? I don't even, I've lost count now, but that's what I did in terms of my GCSEs. So things pretty much are similar to back then, which is good because I'm not in uncharted territory. However, I have just something that I have noted though that is different from back in my day with science. So now you have the combined science GCSE still. However, if you want to do science A-levels afterwards, they advise not to do that and to do subject-specific A-levels, so biology, chemistry, physics, rather than the combined. That's just something I thought, a little tip I'd give you if you are looking out for science. If you think there might be a chance that they want to do science A-levels, I wouldn't choose the combined science. That's just my personal opinion. However, as I said, we're not at that stage yet, so I will keep you updated on our journey and let you know how we go and what things she ends up picking and stuff. And I'll definitely let you know the process of how it all goes, because I think there aren't as many educators or homeschoolers on YouTube for the upper grades. You see them in the preschool, tons of them in preschool. You see them in early, K through 5, and then they kind of drop off and taper off a bit. So hopefully my journey will help you along your way if you're coming up behind me. Or if you're at the same stage as me now, definitely, let me know in the comments or email me, because I'd love to chat and see what you're doing as well, because I think it's always great to share knowledge. And this is why I've had my channel from the beginning, is to share knowledge, because I feel like education is not in a box. There are so many different ways to learn, and learning at home is a valid choice. And I wanted to share my experience and my knowledge throughout the years to help someone else who wanted to do this too. So yes, my goal has always been to share my knowledge and experiences so that it could help anyone who was coming behind me, or at the same time if you were doing things similar or even differently, you know, to share experiences, because homeschooling, home education is a valid choice, and there are so many people out there that are so against it and so anti it and think that it's the worst thing in the world. And I think the more people share positive stories and experiences, the more people will see actually they're talking through their ears. So I will see you all in our next video. Take care. Bye for now.